You see, Edom learned that they can't do all the work, but they got to hire illicit help from so-called other nations, other people groups that they would call the Goy or the Goyim. And so they began to open up what you would call secret societies of other nations to work together in concert with them to fulfill their civil unrest, country-destroying, manipulative ways. So they created secret societies, all right? Operating under. Now, the Rothschilds were at the top, and these secret societies go way down, but they operating under the Rothschild family. Some would call the round table. You see? Ooh, that was just heavy just now. Oh, God. And so you go to your little secret society meetings, and you got all your secret signs and handshakes and secret gestures, and you see that? And you take pictures, and nobody else know, hey, God, what you communicating, but those in the society know. All right? All right? They know that you're one of them. All right? No, I'm not going to mention no names because I know they got some in church. They got some that go to their little secret lodge meetings in church. I understand that. All right? But one day, I'm telling you, and I'm going to prophesy to you right now, one day you're going to have to choose between your secret society and your Savior. You're going to have to choose between God and your lodge. You're going to have to choose between God's people and the Edomites who running your secret society. You're going to have to choose. Now, you could be simple if you want, but you better research and do your work. You better go to the protocols, and they'll name out the secret societies in the protocols that the Ashkenazis developed, and they got they got the power over, and they go to the churches, man. They got ministers and deacons and ministry heads, and they go to the churches, and they disguise themselves as being religious affiliations where they have nothing to do with religion. And in those societies, you do things that are anti-Bible. You do things that are against the commandments. And lo and behold, they will call upon you. You think that the favors are free. You think that the jobs are free. You think that you getting stopped in the world and you got your little secret handshake or your little sticker and you don't get a ticket. You think all that is free. Ain't nothing free but the gospel. They will call upon you. You don't make no deal with the devil. They will call upon you, and when they call upon you, what you gonna answer? They made the call in Russia, man. They made the call in Russia. And the secret societies brought down that nation. And they brought it down for Edom. They brought it down for the Ashkenazis. You got to do your work, man. You got to do your work. I believe we was in D.C. and Atlanta. One of the brothers from the School of Hebrews told me, Pastor, anytime you need me, I'm going to get up and talk about the secret societies. I say, brother, hold up. Don't get yourself in danger. He said, no, Pastor, I don't care because I was in them. And I'll tell everybody what's going on in them. I'll tell everybody what the end of that is. I'm no longer in it, and I speak against it. You see? And one day I might have that brother come here. Because ain't no place, hallelujah, secret societies have some of the most influence than in the black church. In the black church, man. You see? In the black church. All right? Yeah, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to call it out right now. Yeah, in the black church. You got pastors, whole denominations steeped in it. The Baptist denomination, Lord, they steeped in it. Pastors and bishops and people way at the top, steeped in it. You'll see the ring sometimes. You'll see the handshake sometimes. A man can't serve two masters. A man can't serve two masters. You either going to love the one or hate the other. Listen to me now. And we done had some that done come to Philly and we done had some that talked to me about it. They done had some, listen, oh yeah, we done had some. All right? It's getting close. They're going to call upon you. And the Most High going to call upon you too. Don't sell out y'all's people for a little bit of money. Don't sell out y'all's people for a little position that's going to only last a few years. Don't sell out y'all's people for a little prestige to get out of a ticket, to get a little contract, cutting grass or whatever with this company. Don't sell out y'all's people for 30 pieces of silver. It's not a secret society. It's a Judas society. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. And all I'm asking my brothers to do is do your own research. Do your own research.
I'd like to give all glory and praise and honor unto the Most High. Shout out to Pastor Omar for that, that little short clip right there, man. You know what I mean? It's not a secret society. It's a Judas society, man. The scripture says there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but at the end of it is death. I had to play that before I started this this video, man. Because I wanted to show you in this video, for you guys that watch this clip, they're talking about what really happened to the Titanic and why it sunk. And the reason I want to for you guys to see this is to show you the lengths that these guys go, to accomplish their mission, man. An entire boat, man, was sank, was put down, just to get a few people, man, and the lengths that these guys are go, man, to have their way is outrageous, man. If you guys could get into that, if you guys could finish the video, man, I'm gonna just be talking about, a few things after it, man, because it's ridiculous, man. And, the Most High gave us this word as a strong defense, man. And part of the reason the Christian church is so weak is because it's been infiltrated by a lot of sellouts, man. A house divided against itself cannot stand. This word is supposed to be a strong defense, man. And secret societies is a no-go when it comes to the word of the Most High, man. So we're gonna get into this clip and talk about it a little bit.
Do you want to hear this or not, Mr. Lovett?
In order to create the central bank, certain obstacles had to be overcome. First, those opposed to a central bank would need to be removed, and secondly, the law would need to be changed, or simply appear to be changed. To deal with the troublesome individuals who opposed a central bank, the Jesuits spared no expense. They built a ship of death called the Titanic.
The sinking of the Titanic was a design of the Jesuit order to get rid of the opposition to the creation of a central bank in the United States.
And the men on the Titanic were opposed to a central bank. They had to die. Among those were John Jacob Astor, Isidor Straus, Benjamin Guggenheim, and a host of other millionaires who were opposed to a central bank in America. Therefore, they had to be taken out of the way. And they were on the Titanic.
The company building the ship was owned by J.P. Morgan, who was himself an agent of the Rothschilds family, the Rothschilds being the bankers for the Pope and the Vatican. The main Jesuit targets were brought on board. The captain of the ship was Edward John Smith. It appears from his actions that Captain Smith was a Jesuit coadjutor, that is, a Jesuit who has taken the oath but does not wear the robes. A coadjutor blends into the scenery and never looks like a Jesuit priest. It is a veteran sea captain, Edward Smith, who orders the ship to travel through an 80-square-mile ice field at full speed on a moonless night. There had been over 8 telegrams warning the captain of the danger.
He's warned 8 times, slow the ship down, slow the Titanic down, you're going too fast. Not once stopped. Knew there was an iceberg field up ahead, knew that he should have slowed down, but didn't. And so you look and you say, how was it that this man could go headlong into a field of icebergs and not slow the ship down, not be more careful? The only conclusion you can draw is, as a coadjutor of the Jesuit order, right through the line, the chain of command, he was told, sink the ship. And he did. On board the Titanic, and this is all documented in a National Geographic video that was put out in 1986. You can go to your local library, and they'll either have it on hand or they can, get it on library loan. But on that videotape, it shows that as the Titanic was coming up along the coast of England, it had various stops. And at one stop, a Jesuit priest got on board. His name was Francis Brown. Francis Brown got on board the Titanic, took pictures of all of the wealthy people, took pictures of Edward Smith, the captain, and then, just before the Titanic set sail across the Atlantic, Francis Brown got off. And then, of course, the Titanic sunk.
Well, Francis Brown is given a camera by his bishop, by his uncle, the bishop, and he is told to go down and take all these pictures of all these people we're going to kill in first class. And so that's what he does. He takes picture of all these rich people, everybody that there is going to go down, and a rich passenger offers him passage. Well, he knows the ship's going to go down, but he very sheepishly got in contact with his provincial. And the provincial's message was, get off that ship.
Like Brown, another noted passenger, Jesuit agent J.P. Morgan, did not make the ill-fated sea voyage. Even though booked on the ship for passage to America, Morgan also fortuitously canceled at the last minute.
And of course, J.P. Morgan, he had his own suite reserved for him. And there were some 55 men who at the last minute canceled their reservations on the Titanic. J.P. Morgan was one of them.
They were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
That's why I have agreed. Larry Silverstein was told not to come into work. That's why him, his daughter, and his son never showed up to work on 9/11. He put an insurance policy on the building. Reporters, do your job. Please ask some questions.
How do we know there was foul play involved with the Titanic? When the iceberg was sighted, it was First Officer Murdoch who attempted to port around the deadly object. This was sound enough, but Murdoch also ordered the engines into reverse. Author Wynne Wade asked the obvious question. As long as Murdoch was trying to veer out of the iceberg's way, why had he jammed on the brakes, so to speak, by throwing the engines full speed astern? In point of fact, the 1910 edition of Knight's Modern Seamanship clearly contradicted Murdoch's decision. The instructions are clear. Avoid reversing the engines. Wade sums up the situation by saying, Murdoch had maneuvered in a manner more likely to cause collisions than to prevent them. As with many who investigated the Titanic disaster, author Wynne Wade was at a loss to explain Murdoch's actions in going against the book. But the captain and Murdoch's actions were not the only telltale signs of treachery on the night the Titanic sank.
And we see all sorts of anomalies in the Titanic. For example, when it was sinking, the emergency flares were to be red, so that ships in those lanes could see the Titanic was in trouble. Well, someone had taken away the red flares and replaced them with white flares, making it look like we were shooting off flares and having a party. And then the loading of the boats, we know that was a fraud. They didn't allow the lifeboats to be completely loaded. They were only half loaded, some 1/3 loaded, because the targets in the first class could not be allowed to board. And the Jesuits were not only the captain, but his officers, and there had been a strike in England at the time, and the men who were normally the ones who would man the ocean liners, they were replaced by Jesuit coadjutors ready to board because they were all under oath to die for the Black Pope if necessary, and so they did carry out the sinking of the Titanic.
But how is it possible that men will commit suicide as Captain Smith and some of his hand-picked crew obviously did?
No! They expect one of us in the wreckage, brother.
Have we started the fire?
Yes. The fire rises.
What about the men they arrested?
He said, and I quote, they would die before talking.
Where does he find these guys?
There's no such thing as a disobedient Jesuit. This serves as a warning to all the other men of power, not only in our country, but in England and Europe. You mess with us, and we're going to do to you what we did to all those people in Titanic, and we're going to thwart the investigation, because a subsequent investigation of the sinking of Titanic blamed Bruce Ismay, the right-hand man of J.P. Morgan, and Captain Ward of England. They were the scapegoats. It was a Warren Commission all over again. 9/11 Commission all over again. It's a whitewash and cover-up, and that cover-up is even more powerful than the murder itself.
After many of the leading opponents to a central bank had been removed, the Jesuits moved to obtain passage of the 16th Amendment and the Federal Reserve Act, both in 1913.
So they created the Federal Reserve Bank to finance their crusades.
We're here at Blessed Sacrament Parish, we are Change LA, to meet someone who's been nicknamed the Black Pope. He's actually the Jesuit general, and his name is Very Reverend Adolfo Nicholas S.J. Really quick, why do they call you the Black Pope?
Oh, that started in the 19th century.
Did it really?
Yeah, but I don't like it because it's in terms of power, no?
Yeah.
So they thought that the general of the Jesuits had a lot of power, but he wears black, so Black Pope.
Oh, maybe, well,
yeah. I'm not Pope,
and
and
you
I
don't
have
have
no
a fish
power.
on you. And I see that there's a lot of liberal symbols here. One of the things in your Jesuit high oath, I think it says something about, furthermore, you promise to declare that we'll, at the first opportunity, seek war at any opportunity against heretics, Protestants, liberals.
Where did you find, what is that?
See here? And that you will spare neither age nor sex nor condition, and I will hang, waste, boil, flays. You've never seen this before?
No, I've never seen it.
Strangle, bury alive. It's horrible. And I was like, look, it's in the congressional record.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Just so that you know what I was asking him. I furthermore promise and declare that I will, when opportunity presents, to wage relentless war, secretly or openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and liberals, as I am directed to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, or condition, and that I will hang, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the walls in order to annihilate forever the execrable race. And then it goes on to say some other stuff. But you can look this up. It's on the internet.
always in plain sight, and also the signs and symbols, the sign of silence, all these supposed oath keepers of keeping secrets. Interesting enough, look at this Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield doing the same sign of silence. More recent news story with David Bowie supposedly passing away. He is part of the rigged game, the matrix that we live in. Now, some might ask, if this is all true, why doesn't the news say so? Why does the news expose this as truth? Understand, people that are awake already realize this. The media is 100% controlled. Some might say, well, what about my preacher? What about my pastor? Why don't they tell me the truth? See the problem here? All the Masonic hand signs, just like all the rest of the deceivers. These are all Freemasons, all liars. The game is 100% rigged. Just look at John Hagee's hands here, the devil horns. Take a look at this hand sign. What he does twice here. Just like Anton LaVey. These are all Satanists. When the Bible states Satan deceives the world, that is very literal, as you can see. So the people that go to church, that attend services, they don't hear their preacher say 9/11 is not what we're told. Sandy Hook was a hoax. What happened in Paris, France is a hoax. This is because all those involved, all of TV, is 100% controlled.
So as you can see, man, I mean, all these guys know, all these guys are in on it, man. You know what I mean? They know what's going on. And you see what happened with the Titanic, man. You know, look at how far they went just to get a few people, like I was saying in the beginning, man. You know, and they have, you know, they have these people set up in key positions so they can get these things done, you know. And the reason why, you know, the Christian church or the churches is so weak is because it's been, like you were saying, they've been infiltrated by these people, man. You know, this word that the Most High gave us, man, is supposed to be a strong defense, man, to protect us from, you know, from these kind of things happening, protect us from people that's coming in and, you know, what I mean, you know, their hands are being greased by the, you know, by other people, you know. You know, we perish for a lack of knowledge, man. You know, that's what the Most High says. We perish for a lack of knowledge, man. People don't want to believe that, you know, in the symbolisms and things like that. They want to say you're crazy, man. You know, well, these things are true. You know, so we're gonna get into the scripture real quick, and we're gonna show you that the Most High was not dealing with, secret societies. That was the Most High wasn't dealing with that, as a lot of you guys know already, and it was a major offense back then. I mean, let's go. So Deuteronomy chapter 13, 6-9, right here it says, if thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. Me. So I'm gonna stop right there for a second. So it's pretty much hitting everything right here. Me, your brother, your mother, you mean your daughter. It's pretty much, hey, look, anybody. You know what I mean? Entice thee secretly. I mean, you know, so you know how, you know, a lot of these Masons like to move in a sneaky, slimy manner. You know what I mean? They have a way with words. You know, they're not gonna say things directly. So this is what it's talking about. Entice thee secretly, saying, let us go serve other gods. I mean, which thou hast not known, taking secret oaths, man, to Greek gods and things like that. You know, why? The Most High is a jealous God. You know what I mean? And this was a problem with the the Israelites throughout the Bible. You know, they idolatry. I mean, they didn't need to go serve no other gods. Why? Because they had everything already. They had all the knowledge. They had all the wisdom. You know, the Most High gave it to them. They had the truth. You know, they didn't need nothing. They didn't need to go anything. It's like if they was going on to these other nations, it was for them to go influence them and teach them properly, but not for the other nations to teach them. You know, or influence them and make them bow down and worship wood and stone, which is, you know, which is nothing, man. You mean, for all the gods of the world are idols, but the Most High made the heavens, man. So right here, so anybody entice thee secretly, saying, let us go serve other gods, which thou hast not known. Thou nor thy fathers, namely the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him, and thy hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. So you see that? Back then, in the ancient times, that was a serious offense if anybody came to you to try to move you away from the Most High, you know what I mean, to serve other gods. You know what I mean? That was a major offense, as you can see right here in the scriptures, man. You know what I mean? It was a no-go. I mean, so if people was actually reading their words, these guys is not supposed to, these Masons, these the guys like he was saying in the video that's in the churches, they're not even supposed to be on the pulpit, man. You know what I mean? They're not even supposed to be on the pulpit. Why? Because like he said, they're gonna call upon you one day. You know what I mean? They're gonna call upon you to, you know what I mean? You think that these things are free. Nothing is free but the word, but the gospel. And when they call upon you, what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? I mean, are you gonna betray the Moses, the King Davids, you know what I mean, the Joshuas, you know, like Judas did, you know what I mean? You're gonna take, like, that's why he said it's not a secret society, it's a Judas society, you know? Are you gonna betray the people of the Most High for a little position, for a little prestige, man? I mean, that's only gonna last you, you know what I mean, a couple of years, or for how long that they could take away. They say, don't betray the Most High's people, man. You know what I mean? This was a no-go, man. This is what the pastor was talking about. You know, you see the lengths that these guys go to do all manner of wickedness, man. You see the lengths that they go, you know? Oh, man. Most High has it in for these guys, man. And right here we're going to take a look at this verse. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, 15 through 16. There will be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. As like a wind is greater than a drop. You know, you start to read these. I used to read these verses and I used to be like, damn, man. I used to think like, no way. You know, but I mean, just when you start, when the Most High waking you up, you start being targeted and you see how many people are in on this kind of stuff, bro. You know, you start to understand what the Most High was talking about, man. I mean, they're all, a lot of people is just giving in, you know. He said, look, you know, you throw one drop into the ocean, you know what I mean? Like, that's the amount of people that's going to be saved, you know what I mean? Versus to, like, you know what I mean, the entire ocean, you know what I mean? That's what I've said. The righteous shall scarcely make it, man. It's not a game. You know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure out here to do the right thing, man. You know, to not conform, man. You know, you're gonna be disliked. You know what I mean? Like, as a wave is greater than a drop, man. One drop into the, you know what I mean, into the sea. You know what I mean? Oh, man. So, yeah, man. You know, I just had to get this one off, man. I mean, hopefully it was edifying, man. You see that the lengths that these guys go. You know, and they're not doing this by themselves, man. They have help. You know, they got help, man. Through means of deception, through means of blackmail. I mean, things that are against the Most High, man. Yeah. So that's it, man. Hopefully this was edifying.